All right. So today we're at our hotel. Before we go out for coffee, decided to record here. Our question today is that we pulled out of our hat yesterday is how is Asian mentality different? All right. So every day we put a question in the hat, and the next morning we talk about it.
We
And
pull question.
no, we pull a question out of a hat every day. See, I need coffee. So, and yesterday we pulled how is Asian mentality different? And we've been living in Asia. The reason we put this question in there, even though we're both of us are from Russia, which is like kind of on the cusp, Eurasia, but we've been living in Asia for the past three and a half, more than that. It's approaching 4 years. Yeah, wow. And we started off in Sri Lanka. Then we lived there for like four months. Then we moved on to Malaysia, lived there for only a month. Then we lived in Vietnam for over 2.5 years. And now we've been living in Thailand for like what, 7, 8 months so far? 7 months so far. And currently we're located in Hong Kong, and we've been to just about any country in East Asia except for North Korea, Myanmar, East Timor, Papua New Guinea, and Mongolia, which is actually not Central Asia, so four. Um, so from our perspective, how is Asian mentality different? Going back, you start. I've been talking too much already.
First of all, I think what I noticed in every country of Southeastern Asia is that you should avoid the situation where you can lose your face, let's say. So you have to save your face. For example, how it can be, I don't know, expressed, like they cannot say no. Because saying no means you lose your face. And for example, I go to a hairdresser and ask him, like, can you make the same like hairstyle? I can see that he is not sure, but he say yes, and then he does, or he makes like hairstyle that he can do actually. Not the same that
he does the best that he can.
Yeah, he does the best that he can, and it's like far away from that I want, for example. But and for them, it's better to like leave a client upset, maybe with like a new.
They're not thinking about
Yeah,
that.
they're not thinking about that, because for them it's better to do their best than say no if
Yeah.
they're not sure in result what I want to say.
Saying no would make them would put them in a position of being unprofessional, right? So they have to make their best effort in order to produce the best result that they can, right? Unfortunately, that can often go against what the client actually requested. And this whole saving face thing, more or less, it goes for just about any country in East or Southeast Asia and even South Asia. Like in Sri Lanka, we often noticed that upon asking something, the first answer is always yes, right? Like that. Whether your request can actually be accommodated or not, you know. So uh, that's it's interesting. It's different, right? It's not something that I was used to when I got here. Now we know what to expect. Now we can kind of get around it, try to uh, ask the right questions to get the result done. Here's another example of, I think this was an example of saving face, but it goes kind of in line with this whole concept. So like, for example, I ordered a kitchen weight, or kitchen, not weight, kitchen scales from an online vendor. And Yeah, that was interesting. And this was from Temu. Temu is an application that you can use. They sell like uh, very cheap items from China as like no brand items that were manufactured in China, and they pretty much sell them, you know, like I don't know how the business model works there, but it's extremely cheap because it's almost at cost, right? They somehow do that. So what happened was there is I don't think there is a way to contact the customer before you send something out, and the stock wasn't updated. So what they did is they sent me the item, sort of.
Picture of the design.
Yeah, it was like Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, like much more better. I got the drawing of a scale. That's what I got. I got a round drawing of the kitchen scale in the mail. Like, that was educational, but I think I really do that it goes with the same
It's
thing
better to
of
send
saving face.
anything.
Yeah, you
than,
have to
than,
send at least something, right?
Yeah.
And this way you save face. So
In restaurants, sometimes when you ask, like, can you not like to put sugar, or is like, does this tea have sugar or not? If we're not sure, sometimes they say just yes.
like no or no, like
or no,
they'll give
yeah.
you a definite answer if
Yeah.
they're not sure, again, to save face, right? But you'll have to dig deeper, like you'll have to go to the chef or to you know, the guys in the kitchen to really confirm what the waiter gave you a definite answer about. So you always have to double check, you have to triple check if you actually want, if you have a special request, for example, that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah, it's not everywhere, not every time, but I
not
was
every-
just
that's true.
examples of situations
Mhm.
where we face this
This aspect.
this aspect. Yes.
So I would say that's the biggest thing that kind of unifies all East Asian cultures. Having said that, they're very different from each other. Like Koreans, like the Korean mentality, the Vietnamese mentality, the Thai mentality are extremely different from each other. For example, like Koreans are rather introverted. Mostly, they're very friendly if you're a visitor. It can be a difficult experience if you actually move to Korea. If you are not Korean, they're very homogenous. It's one of the most homogenous cultures in the world. So any outsider will be not welcome, but you will be seen as like kind of, I don't want to say second rate, but it will feel like that, you know. The Vietnamese culture, on the other hand, is extremely extroverted. Extremely, they're super curious. They're super friendly generally. A lot of times they have no concept of privacy. Like they'll stare at you if they're curious.
Touch you
they'll
if
touch you.
if
Yeah,
the
like
person likes you.
Yep.
Yeah, the person, this person will touch you,
That's true.
even your face. Oh,
Yeah,
so cute.
Mm.
Sorry,
Even my
handsome.
microphone.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
handsome.
you're not Vietnamese.
But I just an
Stop
example.
touching me. See, you make me develop a Russian accent. Stop touching me. Like, anyways,
yeah, I make you
what?
like doing Russian accent.
Yes.
Not
So-
you doing this. Okay.
No,
I
you make me do Russian accent. So anyway, we in Vietnam a lot of times there is no concept of privacy, which is okay, I'm gonna stop talking like that. Yeah, so people will touch you if they like you, if they're curious about you, and they will express their curiosity. And I was gonna say something else. Oh, they'll pull you aside for photos, whether you like it or not, just because you look different, right? So it is a very different culture there. And in Vietnam, I think one of the main things about their culture is freedom, inner freedom, and you have to like you can express your freedom and nobody will interfere, and you should never interfere with anybody else's freedom either. even if it bothers you. So like if somebody's playing karaoke at like 2 a.m. in the morning really loudly, nobody will interfere. That's their freedom. They're exercising their freedom. And of course, if you do something weird, as long as you're not, like you're not being aggressive, pretty much you will be left alone. People generally won't touch you. Yes, foreigners will also be seen as, a little odd, maybe sometimes a little like silly, awkward, not understanding their ways. But generally, the Vietnamese are very accepting of visitors. You won't feel excluded in Vietnam. If you join a party at 2 a.m. in the morning, you'll gladly be accepted, even if you're not just a tourist. The Thai mentality is super different. How do you feel? Like, what do you see? How do you see
Hard
the
to
Thai
say
people?
because I still cannot like not
Grasp,
feel it,
grasp it.
grasp it. Yeah, I cannot explain. I cannot describe it. What I feel that they um, respect your privacy for sure. Um, in Vietnam, it's not about like respect on or not respecting. It's about like they don't have this concept of privacy. That's it.
Yeah, it's true.
In Thailand, they definitely do. They do have this concept. I compare Thai people and Vietnamese people, and this is the big difference. For example,
That's true. Even though we've been living in Thailand, like we've been living there for half a year. There's a few things that I noticed. First of all, they definitely respect your privacy. Thai people are a lot more reserved, although generally super friendly and accepting. I would say that it's not as easy to make local friends in Thailand as it is in Vietnam. I mean, in Vietnam, like, go to the nearest bar, you'll walk out with a bunch of friends. Um, and then I noticed that the north part of Thailand and the south part of Thailand are very different. They used to be different kingdoms. So in the south, the feeling is that they're a little like not louder, but more loose. Yeah, more loose. And in the north, they're even more reserved and quiet, like generally very quiet. Like Chiang Mai is a very
so
chill city
how is
overall.
Asian mentality different? What can you?
Well, the saving face part goes for just about any mentality. There's one more thing I would say about Asian mentality is that
Mm,
the last thing I noticed is that often the cultures that are a little at odds with each other, that don't not like each other as much, but kind of butt heads with each other, which would be the Japanese and Koreans and the Vietnamese and the Chinese, they're often more similar than they'd like to admit. All right, that is one thing that I noticed. It's true.
Our Vietnamese host
Huang,
refused to
Huang,
drink tea, Chinese tea with us.
Huang, I'm so sorry, but Huang is a dear friend and our former landlord. I'm so sorry, but it's true. So that is one thing. How is it different? I mean, it's similar to where cultures that are closest to each other will have the most animosity toward each other. Uh, that's similar, but how is it different? So number one is saving face for sure. Number two is there are a lot of kind of cultural nuances that will be very different from European Christian influenced cultures, and most Asian cultures are Buddhist, East Asian. So you have a lot of that, and you have these cultures are much less individualistic. So what's the word I'm looking for? Not individual. What's the opposite of individualism? Collectivism.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's the I, the self, matters a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. You'll
Than
see
the
that.
society.
Yeah, and people will often be welcoming at their own expense towards visitors. Like they will spend their resources just for you to feel welcome. So they will sacrifice a lot for for the country, for like, for duty,
Mhm.
for whatever they need to do. Work culture is very different. The boss means a lot, like a lot compared to the Western countries, and all like, well, except for Thais, but all East Asians are heavy drinkers: Japanese, Koreans, and Vietnamese. Yeah, Vietnamese soju, for sure, or I mean Korean soju. The Vietnamese drink beer mostly, and you gotta drink with your boss. Like if you don't drink, it's seen as weird often. What other differences have you seen?
I think this is like these are main differences, and maybe
Probably.
maybe it's more patriarchic.
Patriarchic often in Vietnam for sure. Yeah.
In Vietnam for sure. I don't know much how in Thailand, because Russians sometimes are similar to, because we have like both influences, Asia
And
and
Europe.
Europe, and this part, especially like far from Moscow,
Mm-hmm.
it's changing right now, but still, like man is a like it,
What?
no, главный. How do you say it? The main person. I cannot say that.
Like the most important, the boss. I don't know.
The boss, the boss in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in this family. Don't hit me. So, but yeah, I would say that Russians are similar, often similar to the Vietnamese, but definitely not similar in other aspects, but in these ones. So yeah, if we missed anything, drop a comment. I mean, we'd love to discuss how, like, what your observations are. If you're from any of these cultures, let us know if we're right or wrong. And maybe some things that we mentioned, there are specific reasons for. And of course, there are, we just maybe haven't mentioned them. But yeah, let us know. And if you have a question that you'd like us to discuss, write it in the comments and we'll drop it into our hat. Let's pull the next one. Oh, yeah, I pull it. I pull it. Go. What?
Pull it.
I did. Wait, I pulled two. Hold on. Okay, find this one. Okay, this is a good one. What's something you admire about Russia and something that drives you crazy? That's going to be a fun one to discuss. Yeah, we're going to talk about ourselves. I think it's only appropriate. After Asian mentality, we'll do this one. So yeah, don't forget to give this video a like and comment, like I said, and subscribe to this channel. We got a lot more of these questions on all kinds of different topics. And see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.